Welcome to time-tested advice, where ancient philosophy meets the modern world. Some women run from the fire, others become the fire. R.H. Sin. There comes a point when you stop pretending. The masks drop, the fake smiles fade. You no longer try to make yourself smaller just to make others more comfortable. And no, it doesn't always feel beautiful. Sometimes it feels like anger, or silence, or deep tiredness, even loneliness. But if these words speak to you right now, it doesn't mean you're falling apart. It means you're waking up. You're stepping into what I like to call your Sigma female transformation, the start of your villain era, but not in the way most people think. Don't be afraid of the word villain. It doesn't mean you're turning heartless. It means you're done betraying yourself just to keep peace with others. It's the shift from always being nice to finally being true to yourself. From people-pleasing to personal power. You're not cold. You've just learned to value your time. You're not harsh. You've just gotten clear on what matters. You're not too much. They were just hoping you'd stay small. And in this stage, yes, you might be misunderstood. You might even be judged. But here's what's real. The more you protect your voice, your worth, and your limits, the more you'll notice who never truly saw you for who you are. This isn't a breakdown. This is your becoming. So, if you've ever felt like you're changing and the people around you don't understand, or even fear it, watch closely. You're not the problem. You're the twist in the story. And it's time to take full ownership of that. Just remember, being a Sigma female isn't a title someone gives you. It's something you already are. So like this video and subscribe to the channel, and let's dive right in. You've realized that being misunderstood is part of the price of rising. Here's something you've learned through experience. When you start growing beyond average, not everyone will get it. And that's okay. The more you grow, the deeper your thoughts become, the bigger your dreams get. And suddenly, people around you don't know how to relate. They don't see your vision. They don't feel your drive. Your fire makes them uncomfortable. They may try to label you, say you're intense or too much. But here's the truth. They just don't understand. Your depth makes them nervous because they're still living on the surface. You could try to water yourself down to fit in, but you don't. Not anymore. You've learned that your complexity is something to stand tall in. You don't apologize for being different. You don't simplify your ideas just so others can keep up. You think big, you feel deep, and you aim high, and that's not something you're going to change. Yes, some people will never get you, but you've made peace with that. You've stopped trying to fit in with people who were never meant to walk beside you. You no longer need a crowd. What you need is truth, direction, freedom. So when people misunderstand you, you don't take it personally anymore. You know it's not a flaw. It's a sign you're doing something bold, something few dare to do. Your depth is your strength. And those who only live shallow lives, they were never meant to keep up. Comment down below the word misunderstood if you agree. Let's move on. You've discovered that what's called morality is often just a way to control you. As you start to question the world, you begin to see things more clearly. The values you were taught, what's right or wrong, good or bad, begin to feel off, and then it hits you. A lot of what we're told is moral isn't really about doing what's right. It's about keeping people in check, being told to always be kind, always give, never speak out. Those lessons were never about helping you grow. They were about keeping you small, quiet, and easy to manage. You're starting to realize that real morality doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within, from your own beliefs, your own understanding of the world, your truth. You've stopped accepting the rules just because someone told you they're the right ones. Why keep following systems that weren't made for you to win? Why keep fitting into roles that don't reflect who you are? This new way of thinking, it's powerful, it's freeing, and yes, it's dangerous. Not in a harmful way, but in a way that shakes up the system. When you stop obeying just because someone said so, you become harder to control. You stop being predictable. You start thinking clearly. And people in power don't like that. They're afraid of women like you, women who question, who reflect, who lead themselves. You're not following the script anymore. You're making your own rules. And that kind of independence, it terrifies those who wanted you silent. So keep thinking for yourself, keep choosing your truth, and never forget, the power they fear in you is the one you've had all along. You've grown past some people you still care about, and it hurts, but you're moving forward anyway. One of the hardest things to accept is that people you love, people you've shared your journey with, might not be meant to join you in the next part of your life. It's not because you stopped caring. It's not because they did something wrong. It's just that you've changed, and they haven't. You're becoming someone new, and they can't come with you this time. And that's painful. You probably never thought this day would come. A day when you'd look around and realize that some people who felt like forever now feel like a memory. It doesn't take away the love you had for them. It doesn't erase the value they brought. But you're heading in a different direction now. And deep inside, you know you can't turn back just to keep them beside you. It's not rejection, it's growth. Letting go is heartbreaking, especially when someone once felt like home. But there's also something freeing about it. You can't hold on to people just because of shared history. Some were never meant to stay forever. They were part of your journey for a reason, to teach, to challenge, to guide. And now? Now, you're turning the page. This goodbye doesn't mean there was no love. It just means the story with them is over. And that's okay. You can't trade your growth for comfort. You're building something new, something stronger. And that means moving forward, even if it stings. You're not walking away out of cruelty. You're stepping forward out of respect for who you've become. And you can't give that up. Not now. You've learned to be careful with your happiness because you worked hard to find it. There was a time when joy felt simple, like it would always be there. But as life went on, you learned that happiness is fragile. And if you don't guard it, the world will try to take it. You used to give your energy away freely. You gave your light to people and places that didn't appreciate it. But now, you've changed. You treat joy like something precious. You've earned it. And you protect it. You're careful with who you let into your peace. You don't fake smiles anymore. You don't say yes just to make others feel better. You set limits now. You say no when you need to, and you don't feel guilty about it. You don't owe anyone your happiness. You don't need to explain why you choose peace. You've been through too much to give it away easily. You've fought hard to get here, and now you protect your peace like it's gold. You rely on discipline now, not motivation. Motivation is tricky. It shows up when it wants and disappears when you need it most. But discipline, it's reliable. It shows up daily. You no longer wait to feel ready. You act, even when you're tired, unsure, or stressed. You've learned that success doesn't come from how inspired you feel. It comes from what you do, even on the hard days. Your growth lives in those quiet, tiring moments when no one's watching. You don't let your emotions decide your actions anymore. You let your commitment guide you. And that dedication, that's what sets you apart. Discipline is your secret strength, and it's the reason you keep moving forward even when it's tough. You don't chase anymore. You attract, then you choose. There was a time you used to run after everything: love, attention, chances. You gave too much. You tried too hard. But that version of you is gone. Now, you don't chase. You've become the kind of person that things naturally gravitate toward. But just because something or someone shows up doesn't mean they get a spot in your life. You take your time. You look closely. Because not everything that wants you deserves you. You've stopped begging for approval. You no longer try to fit in or prove your worth. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just being real. And that truth? It draws people in. But only the ones who truly value you get to stay. You now protect your energy. You don't hand it out to just anyone. You let time and actions reveal what's real, not your hopes or dreams. That's the difference now. You trust the process. You know the right people and the right moments will find you when they're supposed to. And if they don't, that's okay too. You don't need to force anything anymore. You've realized something important. The best things in life don't need to be chased. They arrive naturally when you're in the right place with a calm heart, ready to welcome the right people. You've stopped reacting. You now pause and then act. There was a time when you jumped at every challenge. Someone said something rude. You clapped back right away. Missed an opportunity. You rushed to fix it. You met every problem with quick emotion, no filter, just fire. But as you grew, you learned a powerful lesson. Quick reactions aren't always smart. You discovered the value of waiting, of watching. Now, instead of jumping in, you take a step back. You observe. You feel the energy, read the silence, sense the shift. And when it's time to respond, you move with calm strength. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every fight is worth showing up for. Some things are better left alone. Your quietness has become your strength. When you hold still, people reveal their true selves. And when you act, you hit with purpose. No wasted energy, no wasted words. This isn't just self-control, it's self-mastery. Your kindness now has limits. There was a time when you helped everyone. If someone was hurting, you were there. If someone was lost, you tried to guide them. You believed love could fix anything. You thought if you just gave more, they would heal. But over time, your big heart became a heavy load. You gave too much. You poured into people who didn't want to grow. And in the process, you lost parts of yourself. Now, you still care, deeply, but with clear lines. You don't carry pain that doesn't belong to you. You don't act like a healing center for people who don't want to help themselves. Because here's what you've learned. Healing is personal. Everyone must do their own work. You still stand with those who are trying. But you've stopped rescuing those who don't want to be saved. That's not being mean. That's being wise. You offer love, not self-sacrifice. Being called the villain just means you finally set a boundary. At one point, you were the helper, the one who said yes too often, the one who gave too much and asked for too little. But the day you finally said enough, suddenly you were difficult, cold, the villain. But you see the truth now. You didn't change into something bad. You returned to yourself. This isn't about turning dark. It's about turning inward. The moment you chose yourself, people got uncomfortable because you stopped playing small. You stopped people-pleasing. You started standing tall. So let them talk. Let them twist the story. You're not the villain. You're just no longer easy to manipulate. And that makes you strong. You're okay with being alone, if it means being free. Once you feared being by yourself. You stayed in relationships or friendships just to avoid loneliness. But not anymore. Now you enjoy your own company. You no longer confuse closeness with love. You no longer settle for presence without purpose. Fake connections? You see through them now. They're just pretty cages. And if you have to choose between fake company or true peace, you'll take peace every time. Because in silence, you found your strength, your clarity, your truth. You're no longer searching for someone to fill your empty space. You've filled it yourself. Now, anyone who joins you must meet you at your level. You're not anti-social. You're anti-fake. Let's make this clear. You don't hate people. You just hate pretending. You're done with shallow talk, done with fake connections, done with social games that drain your soul. You're not being rude. You're being real. You crave deep conversations, honest words, genuine vibes. And if it's not that, you leave. Your circle is smaller now, maybe tiny, but it's pure. You'd rather sit quietly alone than with people who don't feel real. You don't owe your time, your energy, or your story to anyone. Let them call you distant. Let them wonder why you don't speak much. You're not hiding. You're protecting your peace. And the ones who truly get you, they feel your presence, even in your silence. You don't prove your worth anymore. You live it. There was a time when you explained yourself to everyone. You tried to show them you were enough, smart enough, kind enough, loyal enough. You gave long answers, softened your voice, and even hid parts of who you were just to be accepted. But not anymore. Now, you walk like you know who you are, because you do. You let your actions speak. You let your energy speak. You don't need to convince anyone that you're valuable. Because here's the truth. If someone can't see your worth, that's their blind spot, not your burden. You're not here to audition for love, approval, or belonging. You are the standard now. And you let others rise to meet you. You're not shrinking for comfort. You're standing tall for truth. You no longer seek closure. You give it to yourself. You used to wait for them to explain, wait for an apology, wait for someone to finally admit they hurt you. But now, you've stopped waiting. You've realized closure isn't something someone else gives you. It's something you decide. You don't need their reasons. You don't need their guilt. You don't even need their words. Because silence is an answer. And sometimes walking away is the closure. You've made peace with not knowing why. You've let go without a goodbye. Because you've chosen your healing over their excuses. And that choice, that's freedom. Here you are, stepping fully into your power. Not because you wanted to suffer, but because the pain pushed you forward, and you chose to rise. You're done playing roles that no longer fit. You're writing your own story now, with your voice, on your own terms. This isn't about becoming cruel, it's about becoming whole. Yes, it hurts. Yes, some days feel lonely. But you're not falling apart. You're breaking through. You are the storm they didn't prepare for, the fire they couldn't stop, the surprise twist they never saw coming. So walk proudly, speak your truth, guard your peace. Because this isn't a villain story, it's a hero being reborn. Let them label you. You don't answer to them, you answer to yourself. And that is where your true power lives. Do you agree with what we talked about today? Let us know down in the comments. We value your opinions greatly here. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.